always trying to improve myself, especially my memory. A friend of mine told me, for starters, I should try and memorize every state in India, which got me thinking. Look at this map. Every country has states which are small parts of it, and every territory or part that belongs to the state also belongs to the country. Do you see where I'm going with this? Here's a clue. It's an important concept of set theory. Got it? Good, because that is just what we are looking at today. Subsets. Hello everyone, this is Math 11 and I'm Shankar. Our goal here is simple, to load up on all the information, tips and tricks that you need to ace those examinations, to minimize mistakes and maximize marks. Coming up, we will be serving you sets of all sizes. In today's episode, we are going to focus on subsets and supersets of a set. To illustrate these, we shall consider subsets of real numbers. We then define the powerful concepts of a power set of a set and the universal set. And once we have covered all that, we will be decoding your exams. Alright, you ready? Let's dive straight in. Suppose you are from a city, say Delhi. Then consider the set of students of all the schools in Delhi. Then the set of students in your school. Every student of your school is also a student of Delhi, but not the other way around. So your school is in Delhi, but Delhi is not in your school. When we define a set and take from it pieces of that set, we build what we call a subset. Let's first describe this notion of a subset. For example, we have the set A given by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A portion of this is 1, 2, 3. Another portion 3, 4. Or simply 1. The sets 1, 2, 3, 3, 4 are what are called subsets of the set A. So formally we can say that A is a subset of B if and only if every element in A is in B. The notation A subset of B is read as A is the subset of B. So, if every element of A is also an element of B, then we say A is a subset of B. Now that the basics are established, let's look at a little tougher example. Let A be the set of all multiples of 4 and B be all multiples of 2. Is A a subset of B and is B a subset of A? Well, we can't check for every element in these sets, can we? Because there are infinite number of multiples of a number. So what do? We get an idea of what the elements look like in every set and then compare them. See, any multiple of 4 can be written as 4m, where m is an integer. As m ranges over these integers, we get the whole set A. Now, any multiple of 2 is likewise written as 2n, where n is an integer. Now, as n ranges over the integers, we get the whole set B. The question now is A a subset of B? In other words, is every multiple of 4 a multiple of 2? In other words, is 4m is equal to 2n for some n? Well, 4m is equal to twice 2m, which is equal to 2 times 2m. The n in our case is simply the integer 2m. So we are done. What about the other way around? Is every multiple of 2 a multiple of 4 as well? Not really. We demonstrate this with a simple counter example. Consider the number 6. Being a multiple of 2, it should belong to B, right? However, it is not a multiple of 4. So it does not belong to A, which contains the multiples of 4, if you remember. So there are elements in B that are not in A. In other words, B is not a subset of A. If we were to stick to definitions, every element of a set A is in the set A itself. Hence, A is a subset of A. Even though there is nothing factually wrong with it, it doesn't seem very proper, does it? We want our subsets to be proper. So what do we introduce? What else but proper subsets? So a proper subset of a set is one which can fit inside the set. Another way to look at it is with this basket of fruits that I have here. Suppose we have a set of fruits like in this basket. Then a set of apples is a part of the basket, right? Part of the set of fruits. It fits into the bigger set of fruits, as you see. Let's define a proper subset then. A is a proper subset of B if and only if every element in A is also in B and there exists at least one element in B that is not in A. In addition, when A is a proper subset of B, we say that B is a superset of A. And in case you have memory issues here, here's a mnemonic to remember this. Superset, think big. Subset, think small. And if that isn't good enough, look at it this way. A set of Indian cricketers is a proper subset of the Asian cricketers. After all, there are cricketers from Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and so on to give us company. But now what about equal sets? If A is a subset of B and B is also a subset of A, then A and B should be equal sets. Let's figure this out with an example. Suppose A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 24. And B is the set of X such that X divides 24 and X is a natural number. Here, A and B are equal sets. You can easily check that. We can observe that A is a subset of B and B is a subset of A. Now let us list all the possible subsets of the set A is equal to 1, 3, 5. Have you wondered how many subsets there are in total? Are we missing any subsets? Wait, let's look again. To list out the subsets of A, we consider sets with one element only, then with two elements, and finally with all the three elements. How about if we chose to take none of the elements from the set A? Hey, that's actually a set which is our null set. Well, we have a caller here who has a question. Let's hear what the caller has to say, shall we?
Hi sir, I'm Urvi and my question is this. Is the null set a subset of this set A?
Thanks, Urvi. To answer that, I need a little time. And I think all you guys wouldn't mind a little break either, right? So sit tight and we'll be back shortly. Welcome back to Math 11. Hi, I'm Shankar and today we've been looking at sub and super sets. Before I left you last, we had a question from Urvi. Now the question was, is the null set a subset of the set A? The answer to this question is yes, the null set is a subset of every set. Let A be any set. Recall that to show the empty set phi is a subset of A, we have to show that all elements of phi are in A. Here's another way of putting it. there's no element in the null set phi which is not in A. If there was indeed any element, then the null set would actually contain elements which goes against its very definition. Okay, now that that has been established, let's come back to the earlier task of writing out all the possible subsets of the given set A is equal to 1, 2, 3. We now have 8 subsets. Let's write these subsets as a set. We shall denote this set as P of A and call it the power set of A. The power set of the set A is the set of all its subsets. This includes the null set, of course. Observe that the elements of P of A are sets by themselves. If we now have n elements in our original set A, it is easy to see that the size of the power set is 2 to the power of n. Let's consider the set A of all the divisors of 30. How many subsets of A contain even divisors only? It's easy. We have A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 15, 30. All divisors of 30. The set of even divisors can be read off as 2, 6, 10, 30, which, as you can see, has 4 elements. Hence, the number of subsets of A that contain even divisors only is, you're right, 2 to the power of 4, which is 16. Now, let's look at some subsets of the real numbers, which we call intervals. Why are they useful? Remember, you have solved simultaneous equations earlier, right? Now, instead of equations, suppose we had inequalities like x plus y less than 12. Then the solutions to such inequalities would make use of intervals of real numbers, which we shall describe next. An open interval is the interval which contains all the elements between A and B, excluding A and B. In the set notation, we have round brackets A comma B is equal to the set of all real numbers x such that A less than x less than B. Similarly, a closed interval is an interval which contains all the elements between A and B and includes the endpoints A and B. We write square brackets A comma B is equal to the set of all real numbers x such that A less than or equal to x less than or equal to B. We can also have intervals which are open at one end and closed at the other. That is, square bracket A comma B open bracket is equal to the set of all real numbers x such that A less than or equal to x less than B. This includes all the elements from A to B, including A but excluding B. This is also known as a half open interval. We have a half closed interval which is equivalently open brackets A comma B closed brackets is equal to the set of all real numbers x such that A less than x less than or equal to B. This includes all the elements from A to B, excluding A and including B. Here are some common subsets of the set of real numbers in interval notations. Check it out. Moving on, we will now learn what is called a universal set. The universal set is the set of all elements under consideration. Informally, it is the set in which we are allowed to pick and choose elements to build up a set. The universal set is either evident from the context that we are discussing or it's explicitly mentioned. You know, in mathematics, it's always good to look for examples to understand such concepts. When we discuss the numbers that represent the sides of a triangle, we take the universal set as the set of positive real numbers because the sides of a triangle cannot be given by negative numbers. For our solar system, the universal set can be the Milky Way galaxy. Now think about this. Which set can be taken as the universal set while considering the right-angled triangles? The set of all triangles would be the natural choice of a universal set for a set whose elements are right-angled triangles. Similarly, the set of quadrilaterals can be taken as the universal set. It's time for me to share with you some historical facts that I've excavated. Did you know that since its inception, there have been some mathematicians who have objected to using set theory as a foundation for mathematics? They claim that it's just a game that includes elements of fantasy. Eric Bishop dismissed set theory as God's mathematics, which we should leave for God to do. Paul Halmos, the author of a book on naive set theory, said, "Nothing contains everything." Basically, he nullified the concept of the universal set. However, today it is considered that mathematics is written in the language of sets. Sadly, God is not taking the exams, but you are. Still, there is some work to do. And on that note, let's take another break to compose ourselves. Because when we return, we'll be getting into the thick of decoding those exams of yours. See you soon. Welcome back to Math 11. Hi, I'm Shankar. If you're just joining us, your timing is perfect because we are just about to go over what we have done today. Let's summarize what we have done in this episode. A set A is called a subset of another set B if every element of the set A is an element of the set B. The latter set B is called parent set or superset. The null set or empty set phi is a subset of every set. Every set is a subset of itself. If A is a subset of B but not equal to B, then A is called a proper subset of B. This means a set is not a proper subset of itself. The power set of a set A is the set of all subsets of the set A. It's time now for the rapid fire section where I test your understanding of the topic. Don't forget to give yourself 1 mark for every right answer. Let's get started, shall we? Here comes your first question. The empty set phi belongs to the set A. True or false? Bang on. It's false. Your second question. Every set is a proper subset of itself. False. Question 3. The set of real numbers is a superset of the set of irrational numbers. True or false? True. Question 4. The interval square bracket A comma B round bracket consists of all the elements between A and B, including A and B. True or false? False. Here's your last question. Let A be the set X such that X is equal to 5Y for some Y in N. B be the set of X such that X is equal to 5Y for some Y in R. Then A is equal to B. True or false? Bang on. False. It's time now to look at the results. If 5 marks is what you've got on your scorecard, then you're this week's high flyer. 3 to 4 marks will make you an achiever. and anything below 3 means that you're still a learner. But don't worry, you just need to log on to www.topperlearning.com, browse through the study materials available, practice more, and don't forget to take the online tests. This topic tests the student on the knowledge and conceptual ability. Mostly 1 mark standalone or apart in 4 mark questions can be expected from this topic. 6 mark questions are least expected. This topic is a part of the unit Sets and Functions, which are worth 29 marks in the final exam. In this topic, questions could be on listing out the subsets, building the power set of a set, or on the intervals of real numbers. Here's an ideal answer based on conceptual ability. In each of the following, determine whether the statement is true or false. If it is true, go ahead and prove it. If it is false, give an example. 1. If A is a subset of B and B belongs to C, then A belongs to C. The answer is false. Consider the set A is equal to 1, 2, 3. B is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, as you know, A is a subset of B. We now construct a set C as follows. C is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 1, 2, containing 3 sets. Now B is an element of C, but A is not in C. You get 1 mark for this question. 2. If A is a subset of B and B is a subset of C, then A is a subset of C. The answer is true. Let X belongs to A, but A is a subset of B, so X must belong to B as well. Also, B is a subset of C, so X, which is in B, should also be in C. So, X belongs to C, which implies A is a subset of C. You get 1 mark for this. 3. If A is not a subset of B and B is not a subset of C, then A is not a subset of C. The answer is false. Take, for example, A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, B is equal to 3, 4, 5, 6, and C is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, A is not a subset of B and B is not a subset of C, but A is a subset of C. You get 1 mark for this. And finally, if A is a subset of B and X is not in B, then X is not in A. The answer is true. As A is a subset of B, we have for every X in A, X should also be in B. That is, X is in A. So X is in B. And X is not in B, then X is not in A. You get 1 mark for this. And now we have an expert here with some valuable advice for you. Be sure to pay attention. These pointers are always handy in scoring those miscellaneous marks that can make all the difference between 99% and 100%. Let's hear what the expert has to say.
Hi students, I am Charu Dugal. Here are some points you should keep in mind for your exams. First, definition of a subset should be clearly understood. Second, the distinction between proper subsets and improper subsets should be understood well. Remember, every set has 2 improper subsets. So, there are 2 to the power of n minus 2 proper subsets for a set having n elements. Care should be taken while writing the power set of a set so that there is no repetition of the elements. Interval notation should be understood properly. Any set which contains a universal set also can be a universal set. Hence, there is no unique answer to such questions. So, it's only your understanding about the concept that will help you write correct answers for such questions.
God exists since mathematics is consistent. and the devil exists since we cannot prove the consistency. On that note, goodbye and take care everyone.